Indeed.
All right. So, secret session. Phillipiclese, when battling against the Fates, Arasta, the true form of Granny Morta, the manifestation of the corruption of the Fates, used her powers over time and space and destiny to break reality, which honestly it was pretty insane. It's a 6-level spell, single target 6-level spell that each of you got targeted with every round. Your Dungeon Master's an absolute monster, but one of the effects was teleporting you to a random location within 30 feet. These are the Fates, though, so not messing around. So it was teleporting you elsewhere, so they wouldn't have to deal with you. Which is like they kind of had they had access to plane shift, so could have done the same thing with plane shift. So it just seemed cooler to kind of mix it into their layer action. Also, that fight, oof, the whole point of the fight was that this creature was basically like stalling you so that the layer action would like take you out. And like everybody was like getting like panicked and running around, and the longer the fight went on, the more times you had to save against that thing. And then we introduced like succeed at cost, which made everybody want to succeed, but then they were killing themselves by succeeding at cost. So it was very like that's kind of how the fight was meant to run. So either way, Phillipiclese disappeared and found himself on the shores of an island in the middle of the Nether Seas. So you're the first character to make it down to the Nether Seas. So let me go ahead and grab this Phillipiclese right here. And we'll head down to the Nether Seas. You kind of got there with a warp pipe, essentially. And let's see. Here we go.
Can't play the noise because of copyright.
Oh, right. I mean, is that a thing? Because all the music I listen to, it just sort of feels like they put all the Nintendo stuff in there now. I mean, Boo is in more music tracks now than Pitbull, like Boo the Ghost. So
I think like the original sounds actually like because they're so old that they are no longer under copyright.
Okay, gotcha. Now, every
I'm
scene in our campaign has had all of its cool particle effects and weather stripped out. So there's going to be a slight loading when I take you to scenes, while I go back and basically put that shit back in. So let me do that real quick. It shouldn't take too long. There we go. We're going to turn on special sparkles. There we go. All right. There's a new particle effect, spiders. How cool would that have been during the Fates fight? To have just a shitload of animated spiders crawling around everywhere? Ugh, would have been so cool.
I think Anna would have actually fought the
All right. And I'll switch over to this Nether music. Here we go. So we'll kind of stop that. Put on this. All right. Now this is coming in pretty low, but I'll raise it on the YouTube end, and hopefully that'll make it work. Otherwise, we may have to turn it up. Let's see. There we go. All right. Oh, way too many particle effects here. I'm still getting a hang of these particle effects. They're something else. There we go. All right. So are you able to see?
I am able to see.
All right. And
this is not at all what I pictured in my head when you described it to me last session.
Oh, yeah. That's why I subscribe to Describe, a flavor text writing service, because I'm still pretty weak at that. I got to get Matt Mercer here to describe all my scenes for me, and then I'll kick him out and take over the scene. So, let's see. I just have to say sternum more, I think, is what I'm lacking.
Sternum?
Yeah, he says sternum a lot. It's his favorite body part. So, all right. This is the All right. So you are on a small craggy island dominated by gray mountains and black rocky beaches. Among the mountains stand three incredibly lifelike statues, which are similar in scale to the great colossi of Mitros. Each depicts a muscular man or woman in a pose suggesting shock and betrayal. Their faces reveal a combination of fear and rage. Iron chains bind their immobile limbs and are anchored in the surrounding landscape. But the map artist, me, forgot the iron chains part. But still, that's what's going on. So you got these three statues, and then, yeah, you just kind of appeared on this beach.
I mean, yeah, the first thing Phil's gonna do is go and look around.
Okay, sure.
Okay, awesome.
Oh, my bad. There you go.
And the chains, they're like interconnected between all of them, or just like shackles for like their limbs?
Where you can see limbs, you see that they are bound and chained. But mostly they seem buried. I think I went with a buried approach instead of a chained approach. But they're most assuredly trapped here.
Yeah, I mean, Phil's gonna like fly up,
Okay.
try and get like as good of a view of the whole island, see if he's just in like a little part or if
Yeah,
it's just
yeah. So as you begin to fly further in, this broken kind of face begins to sort of move ever so slightly. And a voice issues forth and says, "Who is there? Who comes to mock us?"
Phil like fly down closer to him. I'm I'm not here to mock you. I was sent here in the middle of a battle. Um, I don't even know who you are.
Sent
Um,
here in a battle?
yes.
Then you are dead.
Can I like medicine check myself? Am I?
Yeah. Go ahead, give me a medicine check. Good flex. Good flex. Okay, okay. To the best of your knowledge, you are intact and alive.
Okay.
You don't remember waiting in line.
No, I was never in line.
Oh,
I'm quite sure I'm alive.
get a load of this guy. He says to the other two statues who make no replies at all. He's a VIP.
I don't know what that is, but
A very important person to have skipped the line. You must be friends with my foul sister.
I'm no friend of Lutheria.
When you say that, you feel and the tremors, even though you are flying, and see like dust and dirt begin to shift as the other two statues almost tremble with anger. The betrayer, the trickster. Here, we are sealed away, our powers stolen.
Oh, so you're her sister. She trapped you here. Or you're her brother.
I don't know what I am anymore. but a victim of her treachery.
It may be fortuitous that I'm the one sent here. I've freed another of your sibling. Halcyon.
Halcyon escaped.
We freed her from her prison.
Halcyon. Yes. She was always very quick. That is good. And it just lets out this really tired sigh. And as it does, you just see a plume of ash and dust and smoke kind of come out of its mouth hole. So, a battle brought you here. This is a lonely island, but you are welcome to stay. If you ever get tired of things, climb in my mouth and I will eat you. It's the least I can do, neighbor.
I don't believe I'll be here for long. My friends are coming.
Oh, you have friends. That must be nice. My friends don't say much anymore. This one. And he kind of tries to turn, and you just see kind of dust kind of shake loose and a couple stones fall. I think they left long ago. Their mind gave up on waiting.
You haven't?
Never. I will have my revenge.
Well, if it's revenge against Thylea and Sidon, you've made a new friend. Because they are my enemy.
I am afraid to hope. I cannot be freed. At least, I know no way in which I could be. Few have come here, save Thylea and her jesters, to ridicule and taunt. Once, she had a massive beast, a living war machine, shit down my throat. And she laughed and laughed. She has a very twisted sense of humor, that one.
Inexplainably crazy.
I understand madness more than I ever wanted to. I was always immortal, and time was always meaningless to me. But time, petrified, is a different matter. I have broken myself, trying to free my body from this prison. And almost to accentuate this, a piece of his cheek just cracks off from the movements of his mouth and just falls apart. Even now, this conversation, it ruins me.
quit speaking and give me some time to think.
Wait. While my mind is clear, would-be rescuer, you speak of Lutheria's madness. That is true. Sidon tried to cure her madness by forging special weapons that would drive the insanity from her. But she discovered them and locked them away. If you intend to kill her or cure her, that could be the way.
You know where she locked them away?
In her great ship, the Hypnos. I watch it when it sails by, when it comes to these shores for another round of ridicule. Were that I could move, I would challenge her to the gods' games. Surely she could not refuse, for her heart is covetous of the victory of that game. I would win my freedom, and I would destroy her. And he lets out another, racking sort of, sigh that kind of tremors and cracks apart more of him and the mountain nearby. Another plume of dust and debris kind of comes out of his mouth. Couple of bones of smaller creatures. And he says, I must rest, but hero, if you truly are not dead, be careful of the waters. They will change you forever. And he lets out one last sigh, and then he stops moving.
Yeah. So, Bill's gonna kind of land on his thumb.
Okay.
And he's gonna think for a bit.
No.
Can he see the chains around his wrists going into the earth?
Yes.
Well, it's worth a shot. So he'll go and he'll press the blue button that turns his rod into a ball,
Mm-hmm.
and he'll just swing at the chains with all his might.
All right. Go ahead and give me an athletics check. Oof, that is a mighty swing with a very powerful weapon. And it does, in fact, shatter the chains that would be binding its wrists. But you see now that the chains were likely placed there initially, but over time, the creature was simply petrified. And that is the true thing that keeps it here.
Gonna look in his bag.
Mm-hmm.
Got nothing for petrification in there. He's gonna pull out the horn, and he's gonna commune with Mitros.
Okay.
His first question: do I have the means to free this Titan?
Okay. So that is unclear yes or no. And cast a spell 2 more times before finishing. The rest 25% cumulative chance. Answered with a yes or no. You must ask your question before the spell ends. Okay. You asked, do I have the means to free this Titan? And the answer is no.
Should I climb into his mouth?
Oh, do you really?
No, that's the second question.
Oh. The answer is very, very quick. No. Like if Grandma sees you climbing into the oven, kind of thing. Like, get away from there.
And a third. Should I try and leave this place alone?
The message comes back, and it is yes. And right as that is happening, you see a ferry, a longboat, as it were, kind of roll up. I don't know where it is right now because we're in the middle of ending a migration here. But helming this boat is this individual right here. He is tall, hunched over. He is draped in dirty robes that are embellished with a great many beautiful coins. The coins seem to be mostly drachmae and lepta, but also many other types of coins, sizes of coins, discs of metal, gems, and other trinkets of value that the different races of Thylea might use as currency. You have seen this individual before through one of the windows in the Lotus Witch's tower. He looks over at you, and then he motions for his craft. Oh, I've probably got a craft. Hold on, just for ambiance. Let's see. Should be able to get there fast now. Everything loads so fast in Foundry 9. All right, ships. Yeah, sure. We'll give him a mini Ultros. That'll work great. Okay. Look at how mini that Ultros is. Yeah. Let's see. And a little bit more, and good. There we go. Yeah. So this dude's kind of rolling up. He's got his ferry. On the ferry, you do see that there are many skeletons rowing. The skeletons have no legs. Their hip bones are bolted to the benches. You see that currently he does have a few ghosties with him that just look like basic bitch petitioners that are being taken places. See also here. And so he's just got a bunch of them, bunch of skeletons rowing the boat, and he motions at you, and then he motions at the boat. As if to say, here you go.
You know I was here.
He nods at you, and he smiles grimly.
Where will you take me if I come aboard?
He points with a long bony finger off to the horizon. The horizon is simply an endless sea of turquoise glowing water. Stone mountains off in the distance dot the horizon, and then in places are so tall that they reach up into the starry sky above.
So Phil's I don't think he has training in religion. No, of course not. So like, I mean, obviously, there's got to be like stories in the world about this guy. He's seen him before.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
it's said that, this guy ferries the dead, and you do see that he's got a boat full of dead, and he's heading somewhere.
do I know if there's some kind of payment
Oh,
or?
yeah. I mean, the common practice in Thylea, especially amongst the settlers, is that when you die, you place 2 lepta on the eyes, or the eye sockets of the person that died, so that they will be able to pay for their passage in the Nether Seas. You'll also notice in your inventory, it now says drachmae and lepta instead of gold and silver.
Oh wow, yeah, I did notice
Yeah.
DR. I'm not dead, but I will pay for passage, and I will hand him 2 drachmae.
Okay. He takes the drachmae, he takes one of them, and he bites it to check for its authenticity. He smiles, and he motions to an unoccupied seat.
You got some good rowers here.
Yeah. And then the ship begins to sail off into the Nether Seas. As it does, occasionally some of the other petitioners sort of look over at you, some fearfully, and some obviously hiding their admiration. But none of them seem brave enough to speak. It is a long journey. Also, the phone call you got from Hypatia will have it that you appeared on a different place of the island. You walked the shores of the island until you kind of saw these guys off in the distance. Then you got the phone call, and then that's kind of where we started the session. It was like right after you hung up
Okay.
with the sending.
Okay, so I would have gotten a long rest then.
Yeah. If the
I
first thing,
mean,
yeah, the
time's
first thing you
different,
did,
right?
yeah, the first thing you did when you got here was you just kind of sat down on the beach and took a long rest, right?
Yeah, he would
Okay.
have definitely
Okay.
passed out. He's pretty tired.
All right. Off in the distance, there is an island starts to appear on the horizon. I will describe this island to you as best I can, using the official text and whatever I can bullshit you. Here we go. Because these locations are a little too unique for the describe service. Yeah, just a bit. All right. A rocky island rises from the inky seas. From a distance, its surface appears to be covered by a forest of twisted, leafless trees that begins near the waterline. Closer inspection reveals that all the trees are petrified, made from the same dark gray stone as the rest of the island. A great column of the same stone rises high above their tallest branches at the forest's center. All right, so let me bring you over here real quick. Oh, I also have the ability now to drag out a folder, an entire folder, and it spawns everybody that's in the folder at once. So cool.
Wow.
Yeah. No more dragging heroes out one by one. It's just it's just amazing. I don't regret waiting this long to transfer over though. All right. So as you arrive here, Charon, he kind of points to the shore, indicating that you should get out. A couple of the petitioners are taken out as well, and they are immediately shackled with glowing spiritual chains by these hideous bug creatures. They look like cockroach people. Hard carapace covering their bodies. Large, hungry, wide mouths with inner mouths full of razor-sharp teeth. Their saliva seems to be acidic, and they have multiple limbs, and in their limbs they carry cruel-looking tridents that are rusty and barbed, and they look to be stained with some kind of weird glowing dried blood. They begin to lead many of them away, and a few of the petitioners look back at you like one last time as they are sort of led away onto the island. So one of them walks up to you, and let's see, in your mind says, "Are you Phillipiclese, son of Pythor?"
I am.
Excellent. I have someone who would like to speak with you, if that's all right.
May I inquire who it is?
He is, or they are, the greatest among us, and the warden of Oathbreaker Island.
And I'll speak to him.
All right. So, a creature appears. The creature's about 7.5 feet tall, and it wears black silk robes with silver embroidery. The embroidery shows runes of a magical nature, mostly arcane. Some of them look unsettling, and the patterns seem to writhe and squirm about if you stare at them for too long. The robes hide a very tall, thin body. Emerging from the neck of the robes is a long, slender, greenish gray neck and a bald, bulbous head with two large black eyes. The eyes look completely alien, and the creature has several holes in the middle of its face where a nose should be, and a semi kind of beaked bestial mouth. The creature stares at you, and you sense a great power coming from the creature, but you feel confident that if you had to, you could probably take this creature out. Or it would pull some dirty spellcaster trick like Hypatia, and that would be that. Either way, as it looks at you, you feel it speak in your mind. Ah, Phillipiclese, son of Pythor. I always thought I'd get a chance to meet you. But these circumstances are different than what I anticipated. I am very grateful that Charon kept an eye out for interesting candidates.
Candidate?
Yes. Recently, I have opened a coliseum. It grows ever so boring down here, tormenting the souls of the damned and the hearts, minds, and bodies of Oathbreakers. The boredom for myself and my staff and dear Lady Lutheria was growing unbearable. Something had to be done. And so, I looked into the hearts and minds of my wards and found a commonality, a joyful memory of danger and excitement. I have created quite a spectacle of my own, but I could use a main attraction. I make this offer to you, Phillipiclese. I know that you are not here for long. Your allies will not abide your disappearance, nor would Lady Lutheria, if she knew you were here, suffer you to go about on your own. I offer you a safe haven until such a time as your allies find you. You will want for nothing.
You say she doesn't know I'm here yet.
She is very distracted right now. She has been very distracted for a very long time. She has many, many jobs to do. Once, she was in charge of this island. Now, the task falls to me. She pursues other interests and responsibilities, you see. In fact, right now, I don't even think she is in the Nether Seas. What a fine opportunity we have, for you to lay low and learn a bit of our world. Like a scout. And then it attempts to smile, but it doesn't. It just sort of opens its mouth a little bit, revealing sort of a lamprey-like mouth inside there. Think of it this way. You'll get to fight alongside some of the greatest heroes in the history of our world. I'll even give you an opportunity to fight your friend Esther. He raves about you.
Oh, yeah. You have intrigued me. What could you give me to know that I could trust you? You do work for her.
Well, I am bound to serve her. But to say I work for her, it's more that I work in her stead. She is, as I've said, very distracted these days. What I offer to you is a safe haven. We will glamour you away from her prying eyes. You will assume a false persona and fight for me in my games. If you are defeated, which I doubt, I have ways of cheating you back to life. But I don't think that will happen, for my understanding is among the chosen. You are the only one who has cheated death. That is appealing to me. You could provide ample entertainment for these poor souls, and also earn us both a fair amount of coin.
Those sound alright to me, but you're quite alien to me. I'm not sure if I can trust you.
Amongst my people, I am one of the greatest forms of life. It is wise for you not to trust me, but we will write up a formal contract, and you may read it as many times as you need. But once you agree to it, your appearance will change, and you will be hidden from the divinations of others. But when your allies come for you, you will be released from your contract and richly rewarded with your share of the earnings. And perhaps a secret about Lady Lutheria.
And that's agreeable. I need you to allow me to... I don't have the capability myself, but to let my allies know that I'm here, that I'll be here waiting for them. Give me those means, and they'll agree.
I will make sure that your allies know where to find you.
Well, I'll go to shake his hand. I'll offer him my hand, like...
Okay. He lifts his robe, and you can tell that he has at least 2 elbows on each arm, and the arm kind of bends, like almost like insectile-y a little bit. And from the robe, you see long fingers kind of extend, and they reach out, and like a spider, they kind of wrap around your hand and shake, and he says, "Come. Let us write up this contract." It's at this point in the background you hear the sad, plaintive screams of those who are strapped to these trees, and you see that each and every one of these trees is just covered in people who are chained to the trees, nailed to the trees, growing out of the trees, or the trees have grown around them. You see that there are these beautiful butterflies, but the butterflies are actually feeding on the people strapped to the trees. They're landing on them and injecting their long, curled proboscis into the people and draining them of sweat, of tears, of blood. The people all look horribly dehydrated, horribly emaciated. And he says, these people chose their fates. They broke oaths and were brought here by the Furies. I think your father almost came to stay with us. That would have been a great fighter for the arena.
Remind me what the hag's name.
Oh, Helica.
Is Helica here?
Helica. I don't believe so. But there is someone that you'll want to meet eventually. An old friend that you hardly knew, but that you want to save. I will be more willing to make those arrangements possible if you fight well for me.
Make you rich.
Yes. My people understand the value of coin. Coin is often the quickest route to the soul. So, Phillipiclese, what shall we call you? And as he starts walking through these trees, you see the people in them just are crying out. And they're just like, please, please, let me go. I didn't know. I couldn't have known. If I had known, I never would have. Please. Please. All right. And then the two of you sort of walk towards a collection of fine buildings that are, they seem pretty opulent, but they also seem very depressing. Like the colors, the designs, there's nothing bright, there's nothing cheerful. They look more stoic than the architecture you saw in Arisia. Like Arisia at least went down for like colors and stuff like that. Everything is just gray and black. There's really not any artistry, any embellishments or any of that kind of stuff. And this guy begins to walk you through the contracts of fighting for him and waiting for your allies. And I think that's kind of a cool place to leave off. Then I'll tell you about the other stuff in a little bit.
Okay.
All right. So now your other character. Let's go back to the wider world here. Oh, and let me get rid of these guys on this map. Bloop. And reset this guy over here. Let's see. Oh, yeah, now I can also, when I move people, I can just instantly teleport them to locations instead of them goofily floating through the air to the location. Oh, it's so great. All right.
Great.
Yeah, it's adorable, and I'll still do it for certain things because it's just like the cheese factor is so great. But let's see. All right. So, do you have your new character set up? Is the other thing.
No, I mean the server's been down.
Oh
So,
no! So, do I need to give you time to set up the server? Or not the
well,
server?
I mean,
Do you need time to set up the character, or?
I'll know. I mean, it's gonna take me a minute.
Oh yeah. Well, the session's
I
gonna start, and they're gonna go through all the loot from the hags, and all of that kind of stuff. So what I'm thinking for your introduction, is that you are one of the prisoners, there with the hags, and basically, I don't know 100% if this jives with what you're thinking, but your character has lived with the same sort of madness as the king. In fact, you might be, since you're descended from Esther as well, you might be related to the king. You might be that classic, like, estranged brother of the king, or bastard brother of the king, or I don't know, is it male character, female character?
male character.
Okay, yeah, so
I sent the art.
yeah. So
Thank you, man.
it might be a yeah, you might be like a relation of the king to a certain extent,
Yeah,
which could be
I
kind of
think that
cool.
makes sense.
And
Yeah.
so sort of like a bastard half brother to the king. And you are also receiving nightmares of Esther and this and that and the other thing. And you are called to either free him from the underworld or essentially go mad. And it got so bad that you were sort of driven to do that. You go to you eventually wind up the Island of Fates. You try to broker a deal for that, and then they tell you no deal because, of course, that's like Lutheria's pet, and they're kind of in Lutheria's pocket and in Sidon's pocket, so they're not going to make a deal for that kind of deal. You maybe get angry, right? Try to attack them, and then they imprison you. While in prison, you, of course, are just going more and more insane. And then suddenly, the nightmares stop. And you start to hear this calm, motherly voice that just sort of like tells you it's going to be okay. Tells you to rest and get strong. And that soon the opportunity will come for you to set right the wrongs of your bloodline. And then it asks you, are you willing to do this? And, you know, what would your character say?
Yeah, I mean, yes,
Okay.
definitely.
And then it says, what would you be willing to give to set right the wrongs of your bloodline?
Everything.
Okay. And as you say everything, you do feel a new strength inside you. So in addition to whatever other benefits that you would gain from the martyr class, you also gain immunity to cold. And then the voice says, it won't be long now. Good people will come for you. Join them, and you will fulfill the destiny that we have forged for you. That you and I have forged this night. A new destiny. To right the wrongs of the past and lay down a brighter future. It is never too late for redemption, child. Alright. So how did your character get all like scarred up on the right side? Was that like the hags just like toying with you since you were their
Oh.
prisoner, or do you have something for that?
Well, I thought that was so like a second class feature of the
Mm-hmm.
martyr is the it's like the mark
Oh, okay.
of the herald, and it says your divine cause manifests itself upon you, forming a special mark or stigmata for all to see. And I thought
Oh.
all that glowing and stuff would be that mark.
Do you want me, like, would it be okay if I photoshopped the red out for, like, an icy blue? Since, like,
Yeah, definitely.
Mitros' element is cold? Because then that'd
Yeah,
be...
definitely.
Okay, that'd be dope. Alright, so that seems like a good place to kind of set that one up. I will go ahead, we got the game in, like, 40 minutes, so that'll give you time to work on your sheet. I'll go ahead and get your mini, your art switched over and your mini made, and then we will be ready to go.
Do I need to? Can I make my own sheet, or does that need to be
You
on a
can, but I could just
side?
make one for you right now while we're thinking about it.
Yeah.
All right, so in the heroes folder, all right, we'll go ahead and make a new one. What's this guy's name? Do you know yet?
Dimitri.
Dimitri. Okay. Here we go.
Wait, so she wants me to free Esther. If I got that right.
Esther was telling you to come free him.
Okay.
And he was sending you nightmares, or Lutheria was sending you nightmares. But the nightmares have stopped recently.
Okay.
And in place of you've actually been able to sleep at night. And then when you finally got that first night of restful sleep, you sort of woke, just full and also empty at the same time, right? And just sort of like as you were kind of like sobbing out this relief, that's when that matronly voice started to speak to you. And since that time, it could be, for as far as I'm concerned, it could be the last 3 days, it could be the last 3 weeks, probably not longer than that because the party was here before. But like, yeah, the last 3 days or the last couple of weeks or whatever, you've kind of had that, and you switched over from prisoner who's curled in the corner, losing his mind and having nightmares, to dude that's doing the whole prison scene, exercise, exercising every day. Exactly. Yeah, the Uncle Iroh and prison thing. Yeah. So that's sort of the direction that things have gone. And whether or not this is the goddess Mitros or just some other entity intervening, or some entity just fucking with you, at least you're not having those nightmares anymore.
Yep.
Okay, that sounds good. I'm excited to see the Martyr in play again, because it is such a cool class. But man, it's rough. It is rough. So I'm curious how you're going to flavor it, because there's so much like self-destructive aspects to it. All right, I will.
So, is there
Oh,
like a divine mission that she gave me, or is
oh,
it just
right now she's just told you to journey with these
okay?
people, and you will
Okay.
find. Yeah, you will find what you are seeking. Is essentially what
Okay.
she's told you.
Gotcha.
Which is really good because that kind of keeps it flexible. If you decide like, hey, I'd really rather just play Phillipiclese again, like then we could be like, cool, well, all right. And then if we find something that fits, we could just kind of work it in. I have something in mind, but if again, if you decide you're tired of playing this character, want to go back to your other character, then we have a way to kind of treasure that quicker, rather than setting it in stone that like this is 100% the thing that you have to do. So
Gotcha.
for now, you need to journey with these people into the Nether Seas to find a way to right the wrongs of your bloodline, essentially.
Gotcha.
All
Gotcha.
right.
Sounds good.
All right, sweet. All right, I will see you at 8. Message me if you have any questions, and I'll go ahead and get this art swapped over.
Awesome. Thank you.
All
This
right.
was fun.
Yep. See you soon.
Bye.